Welcome back. Welcome back. What's going on, everybody? Give me 1 second. What's going on? Send it. You're talking about as a left translated cycle. I was talking about a left translated cycle a year ago when we had got above all-time high before the halving. But we've made up for all that time. We're right where we're supposed to be now. If anything, we're looking at what could be a right translated cycle, which means it could end a little bit past where we're expecting it to. Me personally, I'm shooting August, September, October. And then if when we get there, I feel like it needs to be right translated at all, we'll deal with it at that point. Yeah, that's about where we should land. Timing wise, timing is really important. In my opinion, we're going to get that downturn in the summer, and that's going to convince a lot of people that the bull market is over at that point. No, it's not that it's a false run. It's just that you got to remember we don't have the same. There's two things that pump altcoins, right? There's the rotational play from Bitcoin and a rotational play from higher alts into lower alts, and then there's a rotational play from stables into alts. The problem is that during this run, we haven't had huge rotational plays from Bitcoin into alts because of the ETFs. So all we're really left with is that rotation of stables into alts, which means that Bitcoin needs to hit all-time high and get flowing before new money comes in. But retail is going to do what retail does as soon as we're back in the news again. Yeah, of course, 1,000%. But I don't agree that they sucked liquidity out of the market, right? They sucked liquidity out of the performance of other alts. But what do you think the devs that rug these meme coins are doing with the money? Or what do you think the guys that get in early that made 15, 20 mil, what do you think they're doing with that 15, 20 mil once they pull it? That's just not going to the bank. They're buying crypto. They're buying Bitcoin. They're buying Ethereum. They're buying your blue chips and they're forgetting about them. Yeah, or stables. Either way, but they're not going to the bank with it. Exactly. I mean, just look at what Trump team did, right? The biggest liquidity suck that we've had till now. What did Trump team do with the money that they got from that? It went right to Bitcoin, right to Ethereum. Unless they're super degens and they just throw it back into another meme, but eventually they'll lose that to somebody that will throw it into Bitcoin or Ethereum or, the top 20. All right, well, as far as we're looking now, guys, weekend trap watch. Remember we had our abnormal trap with our CME closed at the bottom. So we have made up that ground to CME. Right, market maker's job for the rest of the day is going to be a little bit easier. What I do want to see is for them to free these trap shorts. Come down, free these trap shorts, clear this vector, clear these liquidations, and then start our 3-day up. My buy orders are set inside that vector gap. To grab this liquidity, one side of the trap always gets freed. The side that gets freed is the false move week beginning. So for us to have a false move up and 3-day down, we'd have to pump all the way to 96. Excuse me. And still come back to close CME on the 3-day. Yeah, no. Chances are we're going to come down, clear this vector, and then we'll have our 3-day swing up to clear some liquidations. Yeah, it's too expensive. It'd be too expensive to run that play. We're already here. This is cheap. Yeah, it makes for really good weekly swings, right? Parabolic. Whether you're long or short, at least you know that one of your trades for the week is going to be a nice 3-day swing. Yeah, I got you, big. Hold on. Let me know when you're done with that page and I'll scroll down. That's a funny question. Why do quant guys hate technicals? Quant fundamentally is probably one of the strongest techs that we have. So it really drives people crazy because quant should be one of the market leaders and it just isn't. And yeah, I mean, you're right. You've gotta you've gotta ignore some technicals if you're gonna hold quant. Funny. Nobody cares about tech during this run. Right? During last bull runs, all you hear is the tech, the tech. This project has amazing tech, revolutionary tech. Nobody cares, bro. It's all highly speculative shit right now. I was so bullish on quant and H bar at the beginning of the. Well, I guess 1 out of 2 isn't bad, but nah, that's true, bro. Gotta be careful. You gotta make sure that you check your bias. No, I'm bullish on H bar. I'm super bullish on H bar. But like my tech stack was H bar quant. Right? So it's like one of them outperformed, even though they both kind of sat still for a long time. But one of them obviously outperformed the other at the end. Yeah, we're looking like we want to keep pushing a bit here. What's going on, Mike? Got my coffee out of the microwave. I'll be right back. Hold on. I'm back. Let's see what dominance did overnight. Okay. Oh, that's a really nice breakdown of that level. Damn right. Yeah, I'll take a look at ETH right now. Give me a second. And we've been working, huh? Damn, this shit shows you how one day bleeds into the other, right? Look, we just started hammering down on dominance a week ago. Apparently, we've been at it for a minute. Too funny. All right, ETH is holding that uptrend. That's nice. Yeah, I'll take a look at Veracity.
Say Veracity?
Yeah. Decent little V shape for Ethereum on this dip though. I'm gonna keep piling in on buying the fear, guys. Like I'm gonna keep saying it until it's drilled into your head.
Ethereum was looking good.
This is when Ethereum was getting hacked and it was going to zero, and oh my god, Ethereum's not safe, and Twitter's talking all this bullshit. And while they're posting that bullshit for you to read, they're buying Ethereum.
Yep. Was the hack even real?
The hack was definitely real, and the crazy thing, it was the biggest, literally the biggest crypto hack in dollar amount that we've ever had.
Yeah, it didn't do much, though. They
Nah,
got all
they
the money.
took it, bro. That shit would have honestly, I'll be honest with you, that shit would have knocked out almost any other exchange.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially something like wheats and something like that, man.
Oh my
Give
god, it
me a
would have been
break.
out of there. Are you kidding me?
Would kill 10 of them.
If you get a hack half that big on weeks, it's a wrap.
I've been using them, man, and the liquidity is bad.
They did such a good job handling that sort of disaster that people didn't even run on. There wasn't even a run on the bank for Bybit. Like in the first couple hours, there's huge outflows, but once the CEO came on and said what was going on, like it slowed down. Normally, you would see it speed up, right? They pop on, they give you some half-ass excuse, they tell you your funds are safe, and then everybody freaks out and sells. But they did a pretty good job. That shit's gonna have to be studied by future groups just in case, because
It doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
and you got to be honest. And sometimes it's okay to get up and say, I don't know, which is what I think was the big thing that he did, right? Came on and said, look, it could be A, B, C, or D. We have no idea right now what's going on. This is what we did. This is what happened. It wasn't customer funds. So no customer funds were affected. And we'll get back to you when we know exactly what happened.
Which they still don't know. They still don't know what the compromise was, and it could happen totally again.
It has to. I mean, the only thing that makes sense is if it was Safe Global. That's their only real.
Or it was user error by the Bybit team, and they actually copied the wrong contract address from like a phishing email or something like that, and they're trying to throw SafeBit under the bus.
Well, unless they're lying, yeah, they could be lying.
I don't think they're lying. I just think that they can't have. They think they couldn't have been fooled like that.
Well, if you take them by their word, they say that they double checked the complete address, not the first four numbers, last four numbers. That they have a bit of a there's a rule that they've got to double check all the entire contract address. So they're swearing up and down that it was the actual contract address. The problem is that with Safe Global, it's a smart contract run wallet. So what they're saying is at the smart contract level, underneath the address, there was a type 1 recipient that was a second address. If they would have gone into the metadata, they would have seen it, right? It's a 1 instead of a 0, and then it's got an address next to it. But we don't really do that, right? Like maybe a year ago, the most we would do is check the first 4 and the last 4. And then those AI hacks started coming out where they're using the same wallets with the same last 4. So now you've got to check all of them. But now you've got to go into the metadata, and you're sending a $1.5 billion. It's worth the extra step. 2, why the fuck are you not sending a test transaction? It's $1.5 billion. We're not talking about sending $20 to your girl to get some Uber Eats. $1.5 billion. Send the dollar across first. That's just the most. It's the dumbest shit. It's a noob mistake, right? So that they can't get around.
Safe Wallet hasn't found anything wrong yet. So, and they've added some monitoring stuff to their product to try to find something wrong. So it's just a little unsettling that they really don't know how this happened.
Yeah.
And it's probably simpler than we think it is what I'm saying.
It's possible. Most of this shit comes down to phishing. 99% of the hacks, they phished your shit. Yeah.
That's where I'm at, is that I'm back to what happened to get someone to copy and paste the wrong thing.
And how did 3 people not notice it?
Because they do it multiple times a week.
It's nuts, yo. I don't ever send more than $1,000 somewhere without sending a test transaction. That's just $1,000. I can't even imagine moving $1 billion in one transaction. First of all, that alone is dumb. Split it up into 4. At the least, you would have lost a quarter, even if you didn't do a test transaction. Split it up.
But 400K, 400,000 Ethereum, you actually watch on the transaction at least 10 times.
Nuts.
Man, that's insane.
Nah, they don't have, Lazarus doesn't have like a mission statement or anything. It really is just making money for North Korea. Just to steal as much money as possible for the state.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to ransomware that ETH back. So like, pay me 250 million, I'll send you back 1.5 billion.
Mm-hmm. They've never, in their history, they've never clawed back a single dollar from Lazarus. They don't negotiate for the most part. The one good thing is that they tend to long hold. Right? That hack from 6 years ago, they're still holding every bit of that Ethereum.
60 million, right?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number, but it was a large amount. So they don't seem to be in it for the short game, which I guess is good for us, right? We don't have to worry about them just dumping all this Ethereum on our heads right now. It'd be nice to see them do it in the bear market, though. Help us out, you know what I mean? Look, you already got it, cool. You guys are the shit. Nobody can stop you. We hear you. Now sell off during the bear market so we can all get some cheaper ETH.
Yeah, but Dbloc, the most disruptive thing won't be like throw on the market for 400K of Ethereum. Would be a rollback.
Yeah, they're not going to do that again. I've heard that. I've heard them whispering about that online. I think Vitalik learned his lesson the first time. That's how Vitalik and Charles got into their big disagreement. Right? There was that big hack on Ethereum. Vitalik found a way to roll it back and get everybody their ETH back. Charles was like, that's complete bullshit. You know, it's a immutable, unchangeable ledger, and code is law. And if there was a problem with the code that caused for the hack to happen, then you change the code. You don't roll back the blockchain. And that's how they had their big split, right? That's where ETH Classic was born, and they forked over to the current ETH.
Oh, that's why they made the fork.
Yeah, yeah. So the team sort of split, right? The purists that believe that code is law and whatever the code says goes went with Cardano. And that's why Cardano runs the way that it does now. Right? Cardano's very slow to bring new projects in, and it's because Charles believes that once the project is on the blockchain, whatever that code says goes. So they're a little stricter with what they. That's why you don't see tons of meme coins and all that bullshit on Cardano. Yeah, they've got back more. I think they're close to like 90% of the ETH back, and they didn't have to go to market for it, which is good. Bro, let me tell you how degen we are as a. Let me tell you how degenerate we are as an industry. When the CEO got up there explaining what happened to the hack, and he was answering questions online. The first question that came through online was, does that mean that Bybit's going to be the catalyst for the ETH pump that we're all waiting for? Like, no, bro, they're not going to buy 400,000 ETH on market. Not happening. That would be manipulation. But nobody cares about manipulation when it makes price go up, right? It's only an issue when it's only an issue when price goes down.
But what would be the best scenario here, Dbloc?
Best scenario is what we got. They reached out to their partners. They managed to get back as much ETH as they could through whatever side deals, OTC deals, calling in favors. Didn't have to affect the market. No customer funds were touched. This was the best case scenario.
So it's like exchanges work for exchanges. They work in between them.
Yeah, I mean, when something like this happens, if you got, that's why you have to have good. Look at the difference between SBF and what happened with Bybit, right?
Yeah.
SBF had no relationships with any exchanges. They all knew that SBF was trying to undermine all the exchanges, become the only legitimate exchange in the US. So when they had issues and they reached out to exchanges, CZ was like, sure, I got you. I'm going to buy a bunch of this FTT token from you. You can use the money to sort of settle your funds, da da da. And then he immediately dumped it on them and told everybody what they were doing. That's what happens when you don't have relationships with exchanges. When you do have relationships with exchanges and you're doing everything proper and everybody's playing by the rules, then when things like this happen, you can reach out, you know, and get your problem solved. It's bad for everybody if they go under. But like they said, it was never customer funds. This was cold wallet to hot wallet transactions for liquidity. The problem with SBF is that he was commingling customer funds inside company funds, right? It was all one wallet. Like everything literally just went into one wallet. You bought something you bought some of that synthetic Bitcoin on FTX. You got an IOU for fake Bitcoin and your money went right into the company wallet. The problem is that Bitcoin went sideways for too long and too many people tried to cash in that synthetic Bitcoin. Because of the fact that everything is completely transparent on the blockchain level, if you're a company and you're doing dirt, your competitors, they know what you're doing. All the other exchanges knew what SBF was doing. But it's almost like if everybody's dirty, if everybody's a little dirty, and then one guy around you is really dirty, it's almost like safety, right? Because you know if the cops come, they're going for that guy that's really dirty. So I think he was kept around as like, you know, if shit hits the fan, he's the one that's going to take the hit.
As leverage.
Yeah, but I think at some point, all exchanges are playing funny games with rehypothecating funds. Right? They all want to be banks. They all play like banks. And if the banks can do it, why can't we do it? Yeah, it's insurance. Definitely. It's like, think of them as mobs, right? It's like 5 mob families in New York. If one of the mob families is being super violent, super aggressive, super obvious, then it gives cover for the rest of the mob families. They know they don't have to worry until that one mob family gets taken down. They don't have anything to worry about. And then when that one mob family does get taken down, then they just clean up a little bit and they're good.
Talking about JP Morgan.
Yeah, basically. Insert favorite mob family here. No, you can use Bybit, but you can only, it's a crypto only, right? You can use Bybit DeFi wallet, but you can't onboard any cash. You just send crypto over there to play with and then send it out. Yeah, they're bringing an end to that too, though. One of the things that Trump talked about that isn't really great for crypto, or isn't great for some crypto people, is cutting some of these loopholes.
I think the tax loss harvesting is going to be one of the first things to go in crypto that we like, where you can sell and just rebuy.
The wash sale rule,
Yeah,
that's gonna suck.
I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, it's kind of shady, but I like it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's automatic for me. Like, I don't even think about it anymore. I wake up in the morning and my shit's 20% down. Oh, really? Okay. Watch this. Instant sell, instant rebuy.
Yeah, that just seems like low hanging fruit to me.
Yeah, it's easy. It's an easy fix. It's an easy fix for them. It's interesting because it is going to change the way that we trade a little bit, right? It's going to add, regulations are like rules in a game. You can go into a sandbox where there's no rules and you can find the best way to sort of play the game. And as they go implementing rules, then that's where metas sort of arrive, right? That's when you're like, okay, well, if the rule is that you can't buy or you can't sell by a certain time, then that means instead of December, we're going to get October sell-offs. Like, it'll just create new cycles that we play. And the people that are quick enough to catch on to them will make money, and everything changes, man. Well, if these tax rules come in for U.S. companies, I expect to see several new U.S. exchanges pop out. Or let's just say some of our lesser known exchanges just start headquartering out of San Francisco or something. What's going to be interesting is watching what happens in New York with crypto laws. New York is like one of the most restrictive states to live in if you want to trade crypto. Yeah. Wooney's been buying into that Arkham Exchange news for a while. Should be big. I mean, one thing Arkham is respected and kind of trusted to a certain level right now. So if they can keep that reputation and they can give us a straight down the line sort of exchange with no bullshit, it could be interesting. Tokenized stocks and all of that shit. Nah, when we went on Arkham and started following that hack wallet, it was disgusting, bro. It was good. I'm glad I got to do that live so people can kind of see what they do with these funds when they get taken. I think people imagine that it just sits in one wallet somewhere. And what's crazy, even though Lazarus Group can't even really be touched like that, they still push that through thousands of wallets. Yeah, for real, John. Like that conversation I was saying on that Spaces from that, it was a ETH maxi and a Sol maxi. And the Sol maxi just kept talking about gas fees. And the ETH maxi was like, you guys are trying to tokenize shitcoins. He goes, I'll give it to you. Ethereum blockchain is a horrible place to tokenize shitcoins. But you know what it's good for? It's a great place to tokenize NASDAQ. And the conversation just came to an end right there, basically.
They ever find out if we actually have gold in that gold reserve thing?
Nah, we're still waiting for Elon to walk in there with TV cameras live in 4K. They better do it like that too, because that's the way they've been selling it. I don't want to hear some announcement that says, okay, we went into the reserves and everything's all right. No. You promised us live footage. I want to see that vault door open. I want to see that shiny metal sitting there. Or not there. That room full of dust, whatever it is. Bro, they're trying so hard to get all that gold back in there that they're going to open that vault and there's going to be a bunch of Cubans and rings and it's going to be gold, but in the wrong way. Like, where the gold bars at?
Yeah, they better be careful. They gave them time, man. They could put some fake gold there.
Oh, shit.
Want to?
Yeah, I need Elon to go in there with a chisel and break a chunk off of one of those bars.
Uh-huh.
You know, people are expecting some big, huge room in Fort Knox where this vault is just up to the sky with gold, like Scrooge McDuck or whatever, or like DuckTales. But you know, all the mined gold in the world to this date fits in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. If you were to take all the gold that's been mined out of the ground, melt it down, it would fit in an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Guys, that's pretty big. How deep?
Not a lot of gold though. Like, people think that there's just mountains and mountains of gold out there.
Mm.
They're gonna go in that vault and find Peter Schiff, butt ass naked, oiled up. What the? I'm sorry, that one got me. Oriana said clearly there's no one been able to audit it because of the dragons that are guarding it. Some Game of Thrones shit going on inside Fort Knox.
What they call those zombie things.
I would have liked to see the look on all prior presidents' faces when they announced that they were going into Fort Knox. Because in my opinion, that's probably been something that's been attempted before, and then it's been explained to them in great detail why it's not a good idea. And then they just sort of backed off. You know what I mean? Like, look, listen. This is why the gold's not there. We did this, and that. This is why we can't let the world know the gold's not there because it's going to affect this, and that. Just trust us as a matter of national security. It's probably better that you just look the other way. And then Trump's like, yeah, nah. Nah, we're going to need you to open that up for us real quick. Appreciate you. Listen, if they go in there and there's no gold, Bitcoin is going to go absolutely apeshit. That's how it's going to affect crypto. It's funny because they're not being the gold that's supposed to be in Fort Knox doesn't really affect the overall gold market, but what it does is it's that scarcity fear, right? It just injects a scarcity, and when that happens, people that are holding paper gold that have the right to convert their paper gold for physical gold will all do that in droves. They're all going to try to turn their paper gold in. And then now that's the problem is, okay, are these firms holding all the gold they're supposed to have? Because nobody ever turns all their paper gold in at once. Like a bank, right? A bank doesn't have to hold all the money because nobody ever comes in and takes all their money at once until you have a run on the bank. So if you have a run on gold the way you have a run on a bank, then the price of physical gold is going to go through the roof. And the value of paper gold is going to go to shit. And Bitcoin is going to go through the roof.
Maybe
Elon
first
had a
an
plan.
initial shock.
Yeah, we can go back and look at some of the gold shocks in the past. It's happened with silver as well. And it's the smallest perceived sort of scarcity just sends things crazy. I'm gonna call my gold guy. I'm actually curious to hear his opinion. Because if we're excited about it, you know, they've got to, the gold community's got to be buzzing right now. All the gold dealers in their little Discord chats. Nah, they're sending it from, bro, we're pulling back gold from every central bank right now in massive numbers. And it wasn't until after they started talking about this audit. Which means that these central banks have to replace their gold. Either way, this is good for physical gold. Like, I was shooting for 3K. We're already there. Yeah, that's a fact, John. Definitely interesting times. So much going on. If you're in the unique position to be able to pay attention to all of this shit, which a lot of people aren't, right? Like 40-hour work week, wife, kids, you know, you can't spend all day thinking about this type of shit. But if you happen to find yourself in a position where you do have enough time to focus on this type of shit, you're going to be well ahead of the game. There's a lot of good plays that are coming up if things work out a certain way. Yeah, dollar would also take a hit. Dollar would take a hit because our credibility would take a hit as the world reserve currency. But remember that Trump's plan is to bring the dollar down, right? He's already come in and said the dollar's too strong. He did it the first time. He said he's going to do it this time. But you're sitting in a point where the Fed won't cut again, and the Fed won't start quantitative easing. So how do you do it? You're the president. You can't get the Fed to cut. You can't get the Fed to start QE. How do you inject liquidity? Well, one way would be look for fraud, right? Like what they're doing with Doge. Take that money, split it up, inject it as liquidity, which they're already talking about, right? So you already see him taking one of his options. The second option is find something that would shake the confidence in the dollar. something like the gold not being in Fort Knox. So if you go in there and there's gold missing and the dollar drops, then he got what he wanted without the Fed. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting too much thought into it, right? Maybe I'm giving him too much credit because we don't really know government to be that smart typically. But it would go to suit the same purpose. And it'd be within his power to do, right? He wouldn't have to overextend by like trying to make the Fed do something or try to get rid of Powell or something like that. Yeah, exactly, Darren. You can't affect them directly, but you can affect the metrics that they look at to make their decisions. Darren said, you guys are worried about employment? Oh, so you want employment to get bad so that you could cut? Here, how about we fire 40% of our federal employees? How's that for unemployment numbers? What does that do to your metrics? Yeah. Well, we need that. We need a weaker dollar. You know, as Americans, if you're an American in crypto right now, you're in a weird place where your bags, if you think about only your bags, you're rooting for a weaker dollar and you're rooting for Americans to lose their jobs. Right? You're rooting for unemployment to go up and you're rooting for a weaker dollar. Which is kind of gross, you know, when you think about it, but